From the studios of Foxboro Cable Access, located in the center of Foxborough, Massachusetts, you are watching Around Foxborough.
Hi, I'm Joe Sanders, and I'm your host today for Around Foxborough. And I have a very special guest today. I'd like to meet Sanjana Karlmarx. Welcome, Sanjana.
Hi, Joe. It's so nice to meet you.
Well, you as well. Well, the fact is, we have met before.
Yeah.
I've seen Sanjana around town a lot. I saw her. She actually interviewed me at the Turkey Trot last November, and then I saw her at a Rotary meeting. She's interested in the Rotary. I was a guest speaker there, and she was there that night. And I understand you're interested in the Youth Rotary.
Yes.
That's well. I know there's a lot you do. I don't know how many things we can focus on, but a couple of things that really interest me that I'd like to start with, if it's all right with you. I know you're in the 9th grade over at the regional school here in Foxborough,
Yes.
and I also know that you're the president of the National Junior Honor Society there. Could you talk a little bit about that? Because that's a great organization. Can you tell us about it?
So I've been in National Junior Honor Society for the past 3 years. So during COVID, our NGHS was not in progress because it was online and it was really hard to communicate because online wasn't that easy to communicate itself. So we put a hold on NGHS and we said we should do it a couple years after. So when we were in 7th grade, they started NGHS again, and I was so happy. I was like, whoa, I'm so interested. And I got an invitation to be part of it. And I said, okay, let's do it. And there's a process for you to do it to get into the club. After you do it, you get an email if you got in or not. I got in. And ever since then, I was in NGHS.
Well, congratulations. Yeah, I say it's not for everyone. That doesn't sound right, but the fact is you have to pass a screening process, and part of it is grades and leadership skills and things like that. I'm going to go right to the next one, which sounds like NJHS. You mentioned this earlier, NGHS. Could you describe that a little bit?
So NGHS is National Green Schools Honor Society.
Okay.
And there we're just doing community service to make our school way more greener by planting trees and plants during the springtime. And during the winter, we do a recycling program where we bring in the recycling bins during the first lunch, and so that they can throw away their recycled stuff. And we also do compost so that it could be donated to a compost company where they can compost it and be better, green, and other stuff. We also put on a fashion show every year, and it's something very funny and something very very important to us, and a lot of people look up to it because it's something very interesting. And for example, one person could collect bottle caps and make a shirt out of it, and we use used clothing to make other clothes that maybe looks a bit different, and that's something that we all look forward to every year.
Wow, that is interesting. So the National Junior Honor Society, the National Green School Honor Society. I also know you're involved with, and we talked about the Youth Rotary. We didn't talk too much about it, but you also mentioned before about a science fair. Could you talk a little bit about that?
So I first started a science fair when I was in 6th grade, and I did it with one of my friends, and it was about QR codes and to make it easier to locate your packages, because most of the time your packages sometimes goes missing, and it isn't that happy to get a message saying your packages are gone, and you have to cancel it, and it's a whole process. But imagine a QR code that can locate your exact package at the exact time.
Wow.
And so we tried creating QR code to make sure people who ordered from Amazon or UPS or FedEx to be able to locate their packages.
Now, is this something that's taken off, or this sounds very cutting edge?
Yeah, so we actually created an app. It was called QR Cargo, but it wasn't really like, taken off that quick because we were sixth graders and nobody really listened to us and they were like, this is not gonna work, but it did work. So we did it around our community, just helping a little people, a little community, and that's what we did with that project.
Wow, that's interesting. Well, you are involved in a lot of things. I mean, what drives you to? I mean, like I said, we got the Rotary, NGHS. I'm familiar with that. Rotary is certainly a service organization. You seem to be very service oriented. Can you talk about where that came from? What drives you that way?
So actually, when I first started NJHS, National Junior Honor Society, I was very inspired by our previous president. She was very I don't know, I don't want to say strict, but I don't want to say too loose, but she drived us in a way to make a change to the community, and I fell in love with that idea. It was a really cool idea, and you can help the community without doing a lot. You can just do it from your own spot. You can lead, and it's that group to guide yourself, your community to a better standing. That idea I really loved, and I wanted to join as many community service clubs and other services to make our community as best as possible.
Wow, well that's very interesting because I happen to agree or share that feeling with you. I mean, I've only been in Foxborough not even a year and a half now, and I found that a lot of people like to do that, and it's really encouraging to see youth do that. And you're included in the youth area for me. So is there, you mentioned the president, right, of the, was it the previous NJHS president?
Current.
Oh, current, okay.
Yes.
Okay, that's right. And so now you're in ninth grade here, so you've got, a few more years here. What are some of the dreams that you might have? I mean, you talked about Youth Rotary. What other things are you looking at?
I really want to be more on the medical side.
Okay.
And I want to set up my own clinics around the world.
Wow. Talk about that.
So basically, around the world, there's a lot of people that don't get medical attention right away. And this kind of leads to my current science fair project, which is cancer awareness and what you can do. And the clinics are supposed to help people be able to identify what kind of disease or what type of sickness, illness they're in, or what they just caught, a cold or fever. And it's supposed to help them because around places where there's not a lot of huge hospitals, there aren't a lot of, access to medical stuff. So I want to create these clinics to be able to help them.
Wow. Now so ninth grade, it's pretty early in your college search. I mean, but wanting to go in this direction, have you got ideas about what you want to do after high school, or is it way too early for you?
I mean, I have some ideas, which is basically the medical side, but I definitely want to be a doctor, but I don't know which type of doctor yet. Okay,
very good. Well, I wish you good luck on that. I know that you're also a member of what is called the Boyden Library Youth Group. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes, so in the Boyden Library for NJHS, I needed volunteer hours, and I'm like, where should I go? I love reading books, so one day I went to the library and I saw the librarian walking around doing multiple stuff at the same time, carrying books on her right hand and then carrying files on her left hand. I'm like, what is going on? Do you need help? And she's like, that would be absolutely amazing. And I was like, oh, that's great. Anyways, I was looking for a volunteer opportunity here. And she was like, yeah, call me once you get home, because her shift was about to end. So I called her once I got home, and she was like, tell me what day fits you best. And I was like, Wednesday. So now I go every Wednesday, and I shelf books, I correct the book's order, and I change stickers, and I do it with another group of people. And together we created an event. It's called Snackable Chats and Delicious Sips. It's a very long
snackable snacks and what was the other?
Delicious sips.
Delicious. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's a huge name, but we just shorten it to Snackable Chats now.
Okay.
And basically, what we do there is like we gather a group of teens, and we talk about our week. We talk about how it's been. We talk about our problems. We debrief while we make a drink. So last month, the last time we had Snackable Chats, we made apple vinegar and cider, depending on what they like, and we made honey buns as well.
Wow. So, but I like this. Well, you mentioned about helping out the librarians. Okay. Is that something that the youth group does a lot? I mean, is a lot of it like going and pretty much working in the library? But you mentioned the snack. I mean, how much of it is actual volunteer work at the library versus doing things with other students or other,
So there is a lot of work at the Boyden Library where, like, if we just finished a huge project where we took all the books out of the teen room and reshelved it, and it was a huge project because there's like a lot of books in the teen room. And so we created just like one shelf just for new books and another shelf for like comics. And we put a few tables in there so that there would be more space. And we did that in like a span of summer break and last year. So
yeah, these are things that there's an old saying that nothing's difficult for the person that doesn't have to do it. And of course, when you saw that one librarian carrying books and files, when you're the only game in town, you end up doing everything. So I think it's very admirable that you. Now, were you at the beginning of this founding of this youth group? Was that, or was this been around for a while?
It's been around since the librarian was there, but there wasn't a lot of people there. Okay. But there is a forum on the Boyden Library website, so if you want to get involved, there should be a website on the website to do the form.
Okay, so all those youth looking for volunteer opportunities, that's one source. I also know you do other things we haven't talked about. I've seen you, I believe, at the Marilyn Robin Performing Arts Center. Have I?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, volunteering there, right?
Volunteering? No.
No,
but I do performances there.
Oh, okay, excuse me, I got you wrong. Okay. Yeah. Well, talk about those performances.
So actually, I'm part of this classical Indian dance called Bharatanatyam. Okay. And I've been going to it for the past 5 to 6 years, around 7. Could be 8. Yeah. Could be a long time. But I've been doing it for a long time, and our teacher is one of the best dance teachers in the world. She's so nice. She teaches us with grace and peace. It's very nice. And it is really hard. It's not similar to ballet because it's traditional, so there's new music and everything. And it's something that we do every June. This year it's on June 22nd. Okay. So yeah.
Oh, this is at the Orpheum or at the Maryland on June 22nd?
Yeah, at the.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that's something to keep in mind, folks. June 22nd at the Maryland Robin Performing Arts Center. Yeah. Also, I remember reading recently about the Diwali event the article you wrote recently. Could you talk a little bit about that?
So I go to this community called Shishu Bharati, and it's all traditional culture of India and languages of India. I graduated last year, and now I'm going there as a volunteer. Every Sunday we learn culture and traditions and language of India. Usually during festival times we all come together and celebrate it, and one of the main festivals of India is Diwali. And it's like light over evil or darkness over light. It depends wherever you're from in India, it's what they believe in. And to celebrate, we had a huge booth set up. There's at least 15 booths about India, and we were helping. There's 3 branches, one in New Hampshire, one in Nashua, and one in Walpole and Lexington. So there's a few. And we all came together and we celebrated Diwali, and I was part of the reporter and photographer. So I wrote an article alongside with some other people and published that.
Wow. You know, I've got this feeling there's a lot more that I don't know that you could talk about.
Yeah.
I mean, and I usually take a lot of notes in advance, and usually they last me forever. But there are more things that I know that you've done that I have not asked you about. Could you bring up anything that we haven't talked about yet?
I mean, I could expand on the current science fair project that I'm doing.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah, it's about cancer awareness. And this idea came to me when one of my family members got affected by cancer. And I was like, this is a very serious, but she's fine now. But now it's like a very serious thing. Everybody should know when they have cancer. And it's like a lot of people, when they have cancer, they don't know they have cancer.
Okay.
Because they don't know the symptoms of cancer. So I decided to raise awareness about different types of cancers and kind of just set about like, you know, these are the symptoms. You should go to the hospital, get daily screenings or like usual screenings just to make sure you're safe, because cancer is one of the leading diseases in the US, and it's like we can do something about it. We just need to be very attentive.
Yeah, is there, I mean, that's, I understand that. I'm glad that your friend is okay, that you were talking about.
Yeah.
Is there anything, I mean, you mentioned symptoms. Is there anything that you'd like to tell us that maybe people aren't aware of that they really should pay attention to?
I mean, if you usually get a headache, you'll just tone it down, say it's just a headache, but maybe if you go to a mammogram or like screenings regularly, you would know if you have a tumor in your brain or anything.
Oh gosh, okay.
Yes, and so headaches are one of the most popular reasons cancers happen, let alone like a lot of people just tone it down because most people get headaches and they don't think of it. And another symptom that people don't really think about is like random bruises on your skin. So skin bruises aren't that like important is what they think, but it's actually very important. It could show the blood flow in your body.
Okay, very good. You know, it kind of goes to the whole topic of preventative care, right? Or preventive care. And to get to be my age, I do it all the time. So, so in school, I think I remember seeing that you're also involved in the sciences and things. I mean, can you talk a little bit about that?
How I got involved?
Yeah. What is it? What drove you? In the beginning, what drove you to be interested in that?
So I have to say it was my parents. They're one of my biggest inspirations, and I was like one day talking about science, and they would be like, science is very important for your life. And I'm like, it's so cliche, like science is, I know everything, but like, why, it's just science, you know? And once I got into 7th grade, I was like, oh, this is science. Sometimes it's boring, sometimes it's really interesting. And when those times come into like very interesting topics, like the environment or human body and like stuff like that, I get really interested. Like my parents are like, how are you interested all of a sudden? I'm like, all these years I've been learning about magnets and like, but that's not very interested in my visions. And they're like, okay. And then I'm like, yeah, so science is something that I really enjoy because it's something about our environment and like, especially if it's about like the community and stuff.
Well, that's interesting. You know, it's really for me, it's very enjoyable to see someone your age be so positive and getting involved in these service organizations like you have. I mean, and I guess I want to ask if you were to advise someone else your age or maybe a little younger, you know, what should they do if they really, you know, they're not sure what they want to do with their life? Well, you know, do you have any general recommendations on what path they might want to follow?
So you should try everything. If you think you might not like it, just try it. You
Okay.
won't know until you try. And it's something that I did not do for a long time. And I thought I didn't like sports, but I really like volleyball because I tried out and now I really like doing volleyball.
Okay.
And something that you should keep trying is even if you don't get onto something and you like it, you shouldn't give up on it.
Okay.
And you should just keep on doing what you like. And if you don't know what you like, you should explore stuff and try new stuff.
Right. That's great advice. And I'll say, I've lived in many different places in this country. In Foxborough, we have more to offer than almost every place I've been. There's more to offer here than I've seen any place. So that's great advice, especially since there's so many opportunities here. And you got the community that supports it, I think,
Yeah.
And it's just very encouraging for me to see someone like you getting involved with things and knowing that if people like you are leading our country going forward, we're in good shape.
Thank you.
It's very nice. And I have to say, my first memory of you was really when you were interviewing me at the turkey trot.
Yes.
That was fun. And I thought, there's a young person there that's getting involved with these things, and now I get to meet you today. Anyway, well, I'm just trying to think of other things that we might want to talk about, because you hit a lot of very important topics already.
Some projects that we did
sure,
in
please.
NGHS.
Yeah, that's a great idea, sure.
Yeah, so some projects in NGHS that we did was Pennies for Patients. It's basically an event where students compete to see who has the most pennies donated, and that donation would go to Children's Hospital. And the winner would get a pizza party or a dress down day, because our school is a uniform school. So if you win a competition, you could get a dress down day to wear whatever you want. And another
big deal.
Yeah, it's huge. They would really be happy if they get a dress down day.
Yeah.
And another project that we did was birthday wishes. It's when students donate a themed birthday party supplies. It's for students that don't have the money to have a birthday party, and we donate gift wrap, sprinkles, cake mix, and other stuff required for a party for them in a theme. So last year we did Disney and Marvel, and those were the two themes that we donated in.
Wow.
Yeah, and another one was Donut Dunkin' War. It's whoever raised the most money would get Dunkin' Donuts. And we did so much more that affected our community in a great way. So.
Yeah, well, it's very interesting, and I'm looking forward to, was it June 22nd?
Yes.
Okay, June 22nd at the Marilyn Rodman Center, right? So that's going to be a great time. And I wish you the best of luck in all your endeavors. And you did mention the Youth Rotary. Is that something you're still pursuing, or is that?
Yes, Youth Rotary, yes. We meet every other Monday of the month at the Boyden Library.
Oh, okay. Okay. And how long have you been in that?
This year.
Oh, this year.
This year.
Okay, all right.
Well, not 2025, but
Yeah, right. That's right. For those that wonder, this is 2025. So, all right. Well, Sanjana, thank you and congratulations for
Thank
all
you.
the things you do.
I had a great time.
Keep doing what you're doing. Keep trying things that you might not even know that you love right now. I think that's great advice to your peers out there, all the young people around Foxborough. And I just want to wish you the best of luck going forward. And thank you for being on the show.
Thank you.
That's it for today, folks. I'm Joe Sanders, your host for Around Foxborough. See you next time.